welcome to another one of Drew's Book Reviews. So, today's book is Book 2 of the Powder Mage Trilogy, The Crimson Campaign. Now, if you haven't read this, of course, you do want to start with the first book titled A Promise of Blood, and let me tell you, A Promise of Blood delivers on its promise very well and very effectively. In fact, as I recall, I thought it was a fantastic read, and definitely worthwhile, and I can tell you that The Crimson Campaign most definitely keeps the pace going, and it definitely holds up to the expectations set in the first book. Now, just to tell you a little bit about the Powder Mage world, it is a world that derives its magical system from gunpowder, and there are different types of magical users. You have the Powder Mages, who snort this gunpowder like crack cocaine. Literally, they'll just snort it and breathe it in, or they'll swallow it and chew it like chewing tobacco to derive their power and their magic from it. The gunpowder gives the powder mages the ability to have superior strength, enhanced senses and eyesight, things like that, but it also gives them the ability to control the gunpowder itself, to redirect bullets fired from guns using gunpowder, to be able to spark or set off gunpowder from a distance, things like that. But then we also have the Knacked, which are basically magic users that have, strong talents in only one given area, or unique ability in one given area. For example, you might have a knack for sensing other powder mages and where they are, or you might have a knack for cooking food and making the best food ever and never running out of food, things like that. And then we also have what's called the Privileged. Now, the Privileged are the ultimate superior magic users, almost to the point of being gods. And in the first volume of this book, we've got gods that come back and return and follow us throughout the series. Specifically, we have the god Kresimir, who is kind of portrayed as this evil, bad god that's here wreaking havoc. And then we have Adam Reborn, and he's come to the world but under the name of Mahali, who's basically being the chef of the army, and never running out of food, and everyone loves his food, and he's always got the greatest food, and he is Kresimir's brother. Now, in the first book, Kresimir takes a bullet to the head, and it's thought that he had been killed or died. But of course, we soon learn in the Crimson Campaign that that's not the case. Now, we've got a few different storylines going on here. First of all, we got Tamis. He's a field marshal. He's a rather well-known and famous field marshal. He is victorious. He is known for winning battles and being a superior strategist and one of the best military commanders the world has ever seen. So his storyline is that he finds himself caught behind enemy lines between the battle between Adro and Kez. And he's got his troops, and he's being hunted essentially by the Kez army, who's got three times his number. He's got no food, he's got no supply lines, he's not able to reprovision his troops. His people are starving, and they are being relentlessly pursued by the Kez army. So Field Marshal Tamis, he is desperately trying to get his troops back across the border to his home country in order to help with the war effort and defending his people and his country from the invading force of the Kez army. And then we've got Adamant. He is essentially, he's kind of like a law enforcement officer, and his family has been taken hostage and kidnapped by a very powerful Privileged who's trying to retake control of the country after the government had been toppled and a coup had been executed by Field Marshal Tamis in the first book. So again, you got to go back and read that first book, because that really sets the stage for what's happening in the second book, right? So we have Adamant. He's managed to rescue most of his family, except his wife and his son is still in the clutches of this Privileged that he is trying desperately to rescue his family from. And then we've got Tennille, affectionately known as Tennille Two Shot, So he is the one that originally managed to put the bullet in the head of Kresimir. Well, it's soon discovered that Kresimir, in fact, is not dead, but he's literally going insane, and he is actually working with the Kez army. Now, the Kingdom of Adro, they are suffering. They are being severely outmanned, outmaneuvered, outgunned. They are losing this war. And Tennille is the only one who's actually managing to slow the tide of the progress of the war and being able to maintain and actually in some cases defeat the enemy. But the commanders of the army, they're not happy with Tennille. They don't like the fact that the troops respect him more. And also Tennille is kind of onto their corruption within the military ranks as well, which has led the commanders of the military to find reasons to court-martial him and kick him out of the army. And eventually he finds himself being taken captive by the Kez army and essentially tortured by Kresimir from the Kez army. So those are essentially the three basic storylines we have going on in this volume of the Powder Mage trilogy. And the Crimson Campaign, I mean, it's well named. This is just a fantastic, high-paced, action-filled book. I mean, you've got magic, you've got guns, you've got artillery, you've got weapons. You've got three really compelling storylines that move at such a fast, quick pace. And it's just an amazing read. I absolutely loved it. And I'm telling you, you've got to pick up and read this book. It is just fantastic. Easily, I'm going to give this, 9 or 10 bookworms out of 10. It is just fantastic. I really think that you should pick this up and read it. I absolutely loved it. And I cannot see anybody who loves fantasy to not love this book, and I am so looking forward to the next volume in this series. The next volume, titled The Autumn Republic. This is going to be a good book. I am sure of it. I mean, if the first two are any indication, this is just going to be just as awesome. Really looking forward to reading this, and definitely highly recommend it for you to pick up the Powder Mage trilogy, again by Brian McClellan. So again, comment below, like, share this video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to support me and help me spread the word, pay for some advertising, thing like that, visit me at patreon.com/ShrewsBookReviews, and also, of course, facebook.com/ShrewsBookReviews and andrewsbookreviews.wordpress.com. I will make sure that the links to those sites are in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and, keep reading, because it is just awesome. Books are so much better than movies, and just awesome. This series, absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. Again, it's the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McClellan. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the review.